Yeah. Let's come at the back. So,
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you everybody for being here. It's a pleasure for me to be giving this speech to all of you. Firstly, thank you for the introductions, and Mr. President, thank you for having us at this prestigious venue and organization. For us, we see the media as the pillar of all countries, of all nations, especially when it comes to business and trade and economics. So we really respect the work that you're doing, and inshallah our partnership can really bring good things and value to both countries, Pakistan and Oman. For me, this is my first time in Pakistan. We arrived a few days back in Karachi, where we had a great time there with really important meetings. We attended the IDEAS event, which is the biggest event in this country. So we had some high-level meetings at that event. Organizations such as Suparco, the space agency. We met with also the Consul General of Oman to Pakistan. We work very closely with the Embassy of Oman in Pakistan and also the Embassy of Pakistan in Oman. Just before we came, we supported an initiative in Muscat, Oman, the capital, where they brought many organizations, companies to come and meet, to have B2B meetings in Oman. We had really good feedback. So we're having something really good starting with Pakistan. The two countries, Oman and Pakistan, from what we've heard and learned, is that they are two very, very friendly countries. They have shared long history, shared culture. Pakistan feels like a second home, especially Islamabad. It really feels like Oman for us, and it's a shame that the countries haven't had the volume of trade that other countries share with Pakistan. So one of our aims, of course, with all of you here and all of the companies we've met and the government of Pakistan and Oman, is to change that and to start to have more trade and investment between the two countries. So after Karachi, we landed here in Islamabad, where we had the chance so far to, even last night, hosted very kindly by Dr. Irfan and his team with the media, where I also gave a short presentation about what is the purpose of our trip and what is our objectives. We also got to meet with the Minister of State for IT and Telecom, Excellency Shahzad, where I was very impressed by her feedback and her comments about how both countries can work together, and it looks like we're going to have a solid partnership going forward. We also got to meet with the Minister of Science and Technology and also the Minister of Education. So we met some key people so far, and we look forward to having more meetings in Lahore in the coming few days before we return to Islamabad. So it's been amazing. The people have been so kind and hospitable and friendly, and mashallah, your country is very, very beautiful, and I want more Omanis to come and visit and to see and experience what they have here for tourism purposes, but also for business purposes. As many of you know, many Pakistanis work and live in Oman, and many are dual nationals or shared history and culture. So for us, we believe that there's many routes to have a win-win between both countries. In terms of, firstly, Oman and Pakistan, the geographical proximity, they're very, very near each other. If it wasn't for that small, tiny bit of water, we would be connected by land. Short flights, and inshallah in the future there will be a ferry connecting both countries, which will be very important to move people and goods. So there's the geography, there's the culture and history I mentioned. We have also shared economic interests between both countries. And also I believe we have a synergy between the capabilities of the two countries as well. So in Oman, we have the Oman Vision 2040, which I highlighted yesterday, which sets out what is the future vision of our country by 2040 to be amongst the advanced nations of the world. It's quite a clear strategy, and ICT in particular fits in very strongly, because it relates to each of the initiatives as part of Oman 2040. What I've seen in Pakistan so far, one of the many potential areas is the remote working and freelancing, which is quite a big thing and quite advanced over here. In Karachi, we got to meet some of the software houses, and we're seeing how they're working, servicing clients in the US, even with a big time difference, as you can imagine. But in Oman, it's a 1 hour time difference, so it's should be much more smoother for Oman to have many of their organizations collaborating and outsourcing such work to Pakistan, where the skills are high, the quality of their work is very good, and the value is just very high as well. So there's, I think, a good potential when it comes to that section. The digital transformation going on Oman is at quite a high rate now, because Oman was a latecomer compared to the rest of the GCC. So the pressure and the focus for the government to begin the digital transformation journey, how they can serve the Omani people, how they can serve the residents in Oman, and how the Omani government also works with outside parties. There's a lot of work that has to be done there. So they require a lot of companies focusing on the digital transformation. IT and software development, Pakistan, from what I've seen and what I've read, is quite advanced when it comes to software development, and that can feed into all of the key sectors in Oman. So in Oman we have the government sector, which is very big, very strong, and the biggest spender on investment in the country. We have various funds as well, which will be investing into organizations which they see have good capacity and capability. The Oman investment has even happened from government companies, investing into companies who they see as a strategic partner, strategic alliance, where they can utilize these companies, not only utilize the services, but actually invest and have shared ownership. Then we have cybersecurity. So now in Oman, with the digital transformation, we have a big need to secure our infrastructure, our data, and Pakistan is a leader, has good potential in the cybersecurity section as well. So cybersecurity is there, and that's something which Oman is happy to explore the best and most advanced services we have in the country, in Pakistan. Then there is cloud computing with all of the data and information stored in the cloud and data centers. Oman itself has opened up quite a few data centers because they see it as a strategic future for Oman, because of the location, because of the security and stability and the good international relations that Oman has worldwide. Many countries are seeing Oman as a good destination for data storage. So with those data centers, we need a technical know-how which Pakistan can provide. Then we have the logistics sector, which in Oman is the future sector, with oil and gas in Oman and energy currently being around 60 to 70% of our GDP. Oman wants to shift away from that, and the logistics sector is by far the biggest sector that they want Oman to be working on. So with Pakistan having its location, its ports, technologies relating to ports and aviation as well, cargo, for tracking and dealing with a large quantity of goods and services which are passing through Oman. I think that's a key area, especially with our port of Duqm in Oman. It's a strategic asset of the country. Billions have been invested there, and it's going to become one of the top ports in the world. So with Pakistan nearby and the know-how and the experience that they've had with ports and shipping, I think there's a lot for Oman to gain. So these are some of the areas. Of course, AI is there, AI is everywhere, and it's the future of all countries, and it's within Oman's Vision 2040. So technologies relating to AI is the types of companies who we want to meet. I think the role for all of you, which we request from the media and from your networks, is to share the information that Oman is really open for business. There have been a few changes recently with the launch of Invest Oman, which is a one-stop shop. Inshallah, if any of you are in Oman soon, we're happy to connect you with them. There is co-investment happening as well, so when the organization says see there's potential, they will invest with companies into Oman. and now there's 100% for foreign ownership as well in the country. With the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, the 6 countries there, Oman, you can see it as a population of 60 million people, free flow of goods and services throughout the region, and a lot of resources and development happening there. So they're very hungry for the services and products which what we see in Pakistan can provide. Capacity building and human capital is very important. So in Oman we have a very young population, so they require the training and expertise which Pakistan has had for decades. So the coaching and training, not just the kind of hardcore tech technology, but the people is something which we need to develop, and Pakistan can provide high quality and high value. So for us, who are we? We are representing Oman when it comes to the ICT sector. We work very closely in partnership with the MTCIT, which is the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology. But we also work with all of the ministries and government in Oman, because they're all going through digital transformation. They all participate in our projects, and they're very excited that we're here in Pakistan. Many of them have specifically mentioned Pakistan. You know, amongst the 5 major countries, Pakistan is very, very important for Oman. So I think there's going to be a lot of focus going forward. There are business forums between the 2 countries. There are investment companies between the 2 countries. So things can really start to take off. For us, we bring the high-level engagement, we bring the focus of the decision makers in Oman. We've been meeting with the decision makers of Pakistan, and we believe a lot can happen. So, COMEX, which is our flagship event in Oman, which represents Oman's ICT, represents Oman's future, is happening in September next year. So there's a good time for us to work with you to bring participation from Pakistan, whether it is companies, whether it is a delegation to explore, and we will be arranging B2B meetings with the right people in Oman. And after that, beyond that, for us, we see COMEX as a 4-day event. It's a platform, but many things come from that. For example, we had a small Chinese participation in COMEX this year. After that, we had a delegation from China, from Shenzhen, which is the top district for ICT in China, come with the mayor and 35 companies exploring opportunities in Oman. So this is one outcome of such an event. We had over $220 million invested during the 4 days of COMEX, which was almost double of what we had the previous year. There's no reason why we can't double that for 2025 because of the early work and the investment we put in. Recently we came from Brazil and Egypt. We're working on similar collaboration with those countries. But for Pakistan, we can see an even higher level of cooperation. So we're here, we're excited, we've begun our work, and I think we'll see a lot of success with Pakistan being highly represented in Muscat, Oman in September 2025, inshallah. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and please, any questions? I'm here with my team as well. We had a delegation from Oman, and there's a lot of projects, a lot of discussions that we've been having. So any questions? Yeah. And we also look forward to working.
Thank you so much. Bari, please.
Introduction. Roshan Diamri from SatNews. I have 2 questions. Is Oman invest in private industries in Pakistan similar to how UK and US companies operate here utilizing Pakistani manpower or IT and software domain? The other one is Oman exploring opportunities to establish software houses or IT firm in Pakistan, living like skilled workforce available in Pakistan. So you have tell no idea about 2040 of Oman, please.
Sure. Thank you for that. So the what you mentioned that the US and the UK do, we've seen that. We've seen companies here being like the back office, you know, for such companies, providing the services for them so that they can carry out their work in those countries. I believe the same also happens with the UAE. The UAE has also started that here. I think Oman does it in a very small way. But you know, I think these are success stories that we would like to showcase to them. Because in Oman, a lot of the work happens, the way business works in Oman is that it's a relationship, it's trust. Once they get going, they prefer to work with the same organizations and same people, same faces. So for them, it's very important to meet face to face. So they know we are here, and when these organizations come and we show them that these are the companies to be trusted, they're here in Oman, they're exhibiting, they're coming to meet you, things will come from that for sure. Oman needs to do that actually. Pakistan has much stronger capabilities that Oman has in that area, and the value that they will get. Yes, it's there in a small way, but I think it has a potential to increase. So when we go back, we'll be speaking about this and about the investment that can happen. And the other question, I think, your question was about investment, which is related. So I mentioned that there is the Oman Pak Investment business company. I don't believe they focus so much on IT yet. They focus on other areas, agriculture, fabrics, but not textile, not so much with IT. But that is our role to change that, because the best trade happens in IT. You know, IT is endless. The opportunities are endless. It's fast growing, and it's where most value will come from, inshallah.
There is a lot of opportunities in Pakistan IT and telecommunication sector, especially IT telecom infrastructure. What will be your key focus in future in Pakistan? IT and telecom infrastructure, cybersecurity, and software development.
Yes, so what I mentioned before was some of the key areas, but our platform actually, because of course we work with many countries in the world for our events. So Jordan has had big participation in the past. We're aiming, like I mentioned, Brazil and Egypt and China. So within our event, there's different zones. So COMEX is general ICT, but then we have zones within our event and connections within our event, the meetings that happen with each of the key ministries of Oman, who come and they represent that zone, and they meet and they look to work with such companies. One thing which you haven't mentioned is agri-tech. We see a good potential for collaboration between Oman and Pakistan in agri-tech, with Pakistan having a strong agricultural sector and Oman looking to develop and become more self-sustainable and having food security. They need to be investing into technologies in agriculture and fisheries as well. Software I've mentioned, and sorry, can you mention the industry which you just asked me, sir? IT and telecom, yes. So IT I mentioned.
IT telecom infrastructure.
And telecom infrastructure. So Oman currently has 3 to 4 large companies, state-owned companies actually, most of them, in telecom. Vodafone was launched just a few days ago, and that's the most international brand within telecom sector. In Oman, the geography is quite spread out, so we have people all over the country. So some of the challenges are, how can we connect people in the country with the government services that they require, for example, when it comes to education, when it comes to health. So it requires that infrastructure. Yes, telecom is an important place that Pakistan can help Oman to develop for sure.
My question is that, as you've mentioned, that COMEX is all about technology and everything. So how journalists in Oman are benefited from the technological development you guys have there, and do you have any way out or any plan to invest technology for the journalists of Pakistan and collaborate in that field as well?
Very good question. You want to support me with it? I can answer that. Okay, fine. So, firstly, the media and journalism in Pakistan is at another level. In Oman, we're still quite at a more earlier stage when it comes to that section. So, in terms of the technologies, I think there's a lot that they can do to develop over there. We have a media hub which we started in a small way in this year in COMEX, and the upcoming COMEX is going to be a much bigger scale. We've been to many of the high-end international events, and we've seen how they've done it. So yes, for sure there needs to be much more investment when it comes to the technologies in media. But even technologies, for example, in marketing, in e-commerce as well. Oman has a lot to offer. It hasn't been so strong, I think, in marketing itself as a destination. It has so much potential, so much capability. I feel it's also something, maybe in our culture, in Omani culture, we don't like to show off so much. But I think when it comes to international business, we really have to show why we are the destination for certain sectors. So I mentioned logistics sector is very important. But e-commerce, it follows on from logistics, and it's something which the movement of goods. Because Oman, it can feed the GCC, because of its location, its relationships, it can become the hub for that, and that's what it's trying to get to. So we want to learn from you about what are the technologies in journalism and media, and perhaps it's something we can really promote at our event.
We would love to learn from you and teach you.
Inshallah. It's a win-win, it's a value for everyone, and that's the kind of message we're trying to give and our aim for our platform.
Actually, I asked this question because there is a lot of soft power, you from with media, you portray yourself the way you have seen Saudi Arabia is doing these days, and they are promoting themselves much more than a religious hub.
Correct.
So Oman has that potential as well, and when you promote your areas, and that's the media is the only medium through which you can promote that.
No, correct. Media is so important, and more needs to be done. We see our role as also part of that. We are here with ambassadors of Oman speaking about Oman. We've noticed generally throughout the world that people didn't naturally think of Oman as a place of business. They've seen it as a place of culture and tourism and beauty, which it has. But the business now is really there. It's like a fresh place to really start and develop. And coming in early is always a big advantage. I mentioned that other countries who have started before us, they are also more saturated. In Oman, there is much less competition, so we've seen success stories because of that. Oman is also understated, we don't like to so much show, but that's changing now with organizations like Invest Oman, OIA, the Oman Investment Authority, putting Oman at the forefront now. So I think you will start to see more of that. The embassies of Oman abroad now have been given clear guidelines to also do the promotion for Oman when it comes to economic interest in business and investment. So we will see more of that going forward, I believe, yes. And Oman is all about, we've always focused on stability of the country. That was the previous focus, the nation building. So now is the time for the economic and investment.
Thank you.
Anyone want to ask? I think that's enough. So at the end, on behalf of President National Press Club and all the cabinet, I would like to extend a formal, gratitude towards the Comets as a whole, and especially Mr. Ahmad, you who is here with your team, and I would like to extend my gratitude to Mr. Ehtesham as well, who is our Senior Vice President, but he always invites his friends, and his friends comes here, and we meet some good people in that way as well. So National Press Club, I as Secretary National Press Club, my name is Nagar Ali, and I am Secretary with the National Press Club. And I think if we are talking about Oman and its relationship with Pakistan, the bilateral relationship and the brotherly love between two countries is exemplary. And the work you guys are doing here in Pakistan, I think I appreciate that, and we National Press Club and the whole journalist community admire that. And sometimes we ask that, as my colleagues were asking, that in the digital arena, because this is your specialty, what you guys can bring in Pakistan for the journalists. But me as the National Press Club representative, I would like to ask you that what do you expect from the journalists of Pakistan, especially Press Club, because we think Press Club is our secondary home and it's your second home as well. So whenever you want to do something with the media, and whenever you are willing to collaborate with the media at any platform, at any level, so we are your people. You can come right to us, you can just ask us, and we will be there for you. This is what we can do for you. And besides that, I would like to give you that opportunity to respond that. But before that, I would like to extend again my gratitude towards you to come here to talk to us, and I would like you to visit the press club and see what we are doing in our, almost no resources position. But we are trying hard to bring some maybe better living conditions to our journalists and their families. So I'll explain this to you later as well. But right now, thank you so much to you and your team for being here. And once again, National Press Club is your team. So whenever you are here, on behalf of President National Press Club, Azad Jadoi Saab, and the whole team, thank you and you're welcome.
No, thank you so much. And I think the National Press Club, like you mentioned, we see you as a strategic partner for us going forward. This is not a one-time thing. It's not like a transactional thing. We see it as a long-term investment between both countries. So we want to do everything we can to make the relationship, like you said, the brotherly love that we have is very, very clear everywhere. And we want to really see the work, the business, the investments happening between both countries. Sure, I forgot as well. Shall I continue or shall I? So the investment in business as a platform happening between both countries. So I believe we will be utilizing your networks, your contacts, your services to promote not just the comics platform, but more than that, because as an organization working closely with the government and in Oman and the contacts that we have in building here in Pakistan, it can go to other sectors. So we also work very deeply when it comes to the education and training sector as well, not just the ICT, and then also the logistics sector. So these are the key pillars of Oman 2040. And for sure, we will be back. We'll be working closely with the press club, and for us, we're so happy to be here, and inshallah, looking forward to being back.